All right, in this video, I'm gonna show you how to be successful with Shopify dropshipping with $1,000. If you're a beginner to Shopify dropshipping, this is definitely a video you wanna watch all the way through. If you've been in the game for a while, this is definitely a great video to kind of make you think about different things or give you a little bit of a refresher. But this is gonna be more of a candid conversation. Like if someone walked up to me on the street, said, I've got $1,000, I wanna get into dropshipping, how do I become successful with it? I'm gonna go ahead and just give you my thoughts of how to actually go about doing that. I've talked a lot about on this channel about the best startup budget for Shopify dropshipping. I've talked about how I've known many people, helped many people that have started with practically $0. I mean, you can't really start with $0, but practically nothing. They had a very low budget and they became successful. That's few and far between, but that has happened. And I've also talked about how I've seen people spend well over $2,000 or $3,000 before they become successful. But I think $1,000 is kind of that middle ground. It's a healthy budget to start with, and if you follow the right strategies, the right principles, you definitely can be successful with Shopify dropshipping right now in 2019. We're only growing, e-commerce is only growing, and dropshipping is only growing with that. But you need to follow the right strategy if you want to be successful and become profitable with your first $1,000 spent. So we'll be talking about how to actually become profitable with $1,000 out of your pocket, to where you're not spending any of your savings or whatever it is after that $1,000 spent. So we're gonna get into it, and I'm gonna explain how to be successful, how to be profitable with only $1,000 to start Shopify dropshipping. But before we do that, if you guys could please do me a huge favor, please smash that like button down below, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and definitely leave any comments or questions down below. I love going ahead and connecting with all of you and answering any questions you might have. All right, so first off, obviously the first thing you're gonna do is create your Shopify store. This is, after you've gone through, you've done your product research, your supplier research, your niche research, you then decide, what type of store to create, whether it's a one product store, general store, mid-level niche store, specific niche store, but then you're gonna go ahead and start your Shopify store. Now, right off the bat, you've got, at least a 2-week free trial with Shopify. If you haven't already gotten that, I've got a link, an affiliate link down in the description box below, but you've got a free trial. So right here, we're not any money out yet. But then after that free trial ends, you're gonna have to choose the plan. I suggest a $30 a month plan for Shopify. And then I suggest choosing a premium theme. I suggest choosing a premium theme and investing in a great logo, getting your branding assets on point. This is something that a lot of people don't do, but it's something that, one, you're actually treating it like an actual brand, an actual business, and it's going to set you apart from all the thousands of people out there that don't treat Shopify dropshipping as an actual legitimate business model. So go ahead, choose a premium theme. It's gonna be, based off of what niche you're in or what type of store you have. If it's a general store, a specific niche store, you need to choose the appropriate theme that goes along with that. And then, like I said, invest in getting a good logo made. The logo is one of the first things that the customer sees, and this is something I see so few people actually put good attention to. Go look at other big brands, see what they've done with their logo. The logo is very important. It might seem like a very small piece of the puzzle to, the big picture, but it has huge first impressions for the customer. And if you don't have a high quality logo, it can directly impact your conversion rate in a negative way. So after you go ahead, you get the theme, you get the logo, you've gotten your Shopify plan, you might only be out, say $200, $250 at this point. So at this point, you've probably got about $750 to $800 left. Go ahead and take your time right here. You don't need to go ahead and rush this point. From right here, once you've got your apps, all of this, you really still aren't spending a lot per month. And this is the biggest step, the biggest part that I see beginners mess up on, is they rush the part of setting up their store so they can get to actually throwing ads out there. So, they want to get money as quick as possible, which is very understandable. You want to make money as quick as possible. But if you don't treat this like a business and set up your foundation the right way, your whole building is going to crumble. And this right here is your foundation. Take the time to get all the branding assets on point. Take the time to do the supplier research. Take the time to do the product research and actually really fill out your product descriptions. Take the time to really, have a high quality homepage. Do research on drop shipping stores that are working out really well, inventory stores that are working out really well, big commerce. Do loads and loads and loads of research and actually build out a high quality converting store. The biggest mistake I'm seeing right now with, in 2019 with the influx of, all the new beginners, this wasn't really the case a couple years when I got into the game. This wasn't the biggest mistake people are making, but right now the biggest mistake people are making is they're too product focused and not enough store or brand focus. Product is extremely important. You've got to have the right product in place to sell to the customer. But if you don't have the store set up right and you don't have, the proper research and all of that put into your store, the right branding assets, all of that in place, your conversion rate is going to be crap, and it won't matter how good your product is. It just won't sell. You've got to have that trust in place. The consumer has to hit it, and they either need to trust your store enough that your product is so good they want to buy the product, or they need to love your brand so much that they want to buy into your brand. I've talked about this a lot, that my first drop shipping store, I didn't know there was such thing as a winning product. When I got into drop shipping, there's very little information out there on drop shipping. The only information I knew was the drop shipping courses I took, and the courses at the time, the people that taught those, they're not even really publicly out there. They don't have YouTube channels or anything like that. They didn't talk about winning products. They talked about building a legitimate business, a legitimate brand, and that's what I focused on. I had all these products that, I thought were just decent products, and frankly, I had no winning products on my store, but I was getting traffic. So all I was doing is A/B testing literally everything to just move the conversion rate up, 0.1%, hopefully 1%, 2%. So what happened is, what we would consider now is, bad products or just okay products, I was actually having those sell because I had a brand people were wanting to buy into. People completely undervalued the power of having a high converting, high quality store and a brand people want to buy into. And so just imagine if you have that in place and you then have the right products in place, this is where you do those huge numbers, not only in revenue, but you've got a huge profit margin. That's what I'm seeing a lot of people lack on right now. They're so focused on product research and getting the right product, but they don't have the store to really get people to really want to buy into it, that their conversion rate isn't good enough for them to have healthy margins. Yeah, they might be making some money, but I'm seeing a lot of people doing 6 figures per month in revenue, and then when it comes down to it, they've got like a 5%, 10% profit margin. That's not good. You want to have a 20 to 40% profit margin depending on the niche you're in, all the products. But a lot of people aren't focusing on their foundation of having a high quality store, a high quality brand that people want to buy into. All right, so at this point, you've gone ahead and you've got the foundation set up. You've spent probably about $200 to $250 with all your branding assets, your high quality store with the theme in place, all of that. So this leaves about $750 to $800 left. So you've got 2 options at this point. Really at this point, this is the beauty of drop shipping, since you're not holding any inventory, really now just comes down to advertising. So you have 2 options. Option A is to find a mentor or take a course, and go that route. Or, if you already have some experience with Facebook ads, or you want to just, try to figure it out on your own, you can go straight to ads. If you want to go the course route, the mentor route, there's a lot of great courses out there. You don't need to spend, the whole rest of your budget on, a lot of these, really, really expensive courses. Find a course that really, really fits with you and that you can actually match up with the mentor. For example, the Dropship Fortune course, I offer one-on-one coaching calls with every member of the Dropship Fortune program. Find a program or find a mentor that truly wants to connect with you and help you be successful. But if you don't want to go that route, let's say you've already got a very, very robust knowledge of Facebook ads, this is the time to go ahead and get into Facebook ads. Now with $750 to $800 left, or let's say you found a mentor or course, so you've got $500 left, that's a healthy amount to go into Facebook ads with, but you need to be conservative with it. I see so many people, they're so excited to make money with dropshipping, start having their online business take off, that they essentially just start dumping money into Facebook ads, not really analyzing the data, even on their store when they actually get the traffic over, that then they run out of money. So I'm gonna give you some tips on what to do with the money for Facebook ads. But first, you need to understand that when you start driving traffic over to your store with Facebook ads, you need to be analyzing the data throughout the day and throughout the week. You need to be living in your Google Analytics, your Shopify Analytics, but especially your Google Analytics. This is something I see so few people actually doing, but if you go ahead and you're looking and you see exactly what pages people drop off, the amount of time they're on certain pages, this can, one, give you hints on the improvements you need to make to increase your conversion rate, to get people to actually convert. A lot of times it's the home page. But then two, you can actually get hints on what could be a decent or winning product before you actually test it. I've talked so many times about having the right amount of products on your store and having products that you've done really proper research on. A lot of times you'll run ads for a certain product, it'll get people over to your store, but then they'll go ahead and buy another product, and that a lot of times can be your decent winning product. I've found so many of my winning products, so many of the students I've worked with, other people I've seen have found so many of their decent winning products by essentially driving traffic over to their store and letting the customers tell them essentially what the decent and winning products are. So keep that in mind. That comes with good, proper product research, good organization on your store, everything like that. All right, so with the $500 to $800 you've got for Facebook ads, you need to go ahead and have a good strategy laid out. Now, I've done so many videos, very, very detailed videos on pretty much every aspect of the Facebook ad strategy, from countries to target, how to do it with $5 a day. What I suggest, kind of a brief rundown, is 2 to 4 ad sets per day, or campaigns, and you need to target multiple different regions. A lot of times, what happens is you might have a product that works out great in the Netherlands and Belgium, but won't work out in the United States. So if you were to just test it in the United States, you're going to think that product's a dud when it could be a huge winner for all throughout Europe. And this happens so many different times, and so many people aren't testing outside of the big 5 English speaking countries. Separate these by countries. Go ahead and test the product by countries. A lot of people like to test different interest sets. A lot of people like to test different creatives with ads. You will get to that point. That's something you A/B test. But one thing I've seen over the past few years is, typically if you've done the right product research, you can have a decently bad ad perform if you have the right product in place, you have the right regions targeted, and you have the right store. Now, obviously, you want to have the best ad possible, but this is where the creative on the ad, in my opinion, isn't as important as where you're targeting, the product research you've done, how good the actual product is that people would want, and then how good your store can convert. So in the beginning, what I suggest focusing on is, instead of splitting all these ad sets up, maybe having all these ad sets just in the big 5 English speaking countries, but then separated by different interest sets or different creatives, I would suggest going ahead and actually splitting the product up by different regions. Now, when you do this, like I said, you're going to do $10 per day, 2 to 4 ad sets, and let them run for 2 to 4 days before moving on to a new product. Now, if you've gone ahead and you've built the right foundation, you're going to be getting sales as this comes in. Now, obviously, the sales coming in, you want to reinvest that money back into more ads. So at this point now, your $500 to $800 that you had left for Facebook ads, you're now able to start kind of buffering that with the money coming in. You're able to put that back in. And what happens here, if you followed the right Facebook ad strategy, like I said, I've got so many videos on this channel about everything having to do with the Facebook ad strategy, from beginner all the way through to pretty much experts with this. If you're following the right strategy, by the time you hit $1,000 you had set aside, by the time you've spent that, you should be at the point that you're profitable. Before you even get to the $1,000 mark, you should find a product with following the Facebook ad strategy that is at least break even. So now you can essentially just keep running your Facebook ads off of the money coming in, just reinvesting it back in. But by the time you get to $1,000 spent, you should definitely have found a product or products that allows you to be profitable. And this is where I talk all the time. You don't need a golden winner. Yes, those golden winners are absolutely great, but if you've set up the foundation right and you've got, a great store that converts really well, you've got decent products, you can have a store of just decent products that is very profitable. I've had this. I've had stores that do this. I have many students that have had stores that do this, that they don't find these, huge trending products like a, fidget spinner or something like that. It's not these huge, just kind of flash in the pan golden winners. Those are great if you can find them, but they have just decent products. But because they've set up the foundation the right way, their ads are going global. They're not just targeting the big 5 English-speaking countries. And then they really focus on cross-sells and upsells. Cross-sells and upsells are so extremely important. If you have decent products with the cross-sells, upsells going around the world, you can be extremely profitable with evergreen products that work out. I've got some products I've literally been running for the last few years. I mean, I'm not kidding. If you go worldwide, there's almost 8 billion people worldwide. And there's products out there that people just aren't targeting in these certain regions. So this is where it's extremely powerful to focus on the foundation. But the point here is, if you have $1,000 to spend and you really follow a good plan, you build up the foundation, you follow a great advertising plan, you've done the product research, the supplier research, the niche research, you're gonna be good to go. And by the $1,000 spent, you should be profitable, and then you can scale up from there. And then from there, it can really scale to the moon. This is where dropshipping is extremely, extremely an amazing business model, because once you find out what works and you start to scale, it's not like other businesses that, scale kind of like this. Dropshipping can go like that. Dropshipping can go literally from, $1,000 to $5,000 per month in revenue to 6 figures in month in revenue if you do things right. So definitely go ahead, follow this. If you've been in the game for a while, this should be a little bit of a refresher. Maybe you've seen some things that you're missing, especially with the foundation, something like that. If you're a beginner, definitely kind of take this as a kind of a rudimentary, kind of rough blueprint of how to spend your $1,000 wisely. I hope you guys found some value in this. If you did, please go ahead and smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely leave any comments or questions down below. I love going and connecting with all of you guys. Be happy, be positive, be powerful, and have a great rest of your day.